Yo, what is good, YouTube? Happy Good Friday. It's funny that they call it Good Friday because it actually really legitimately is a Good Friday. Any day that I have off from work for a holiday, that I get to sit at home with the Shih Tzu, check out baseball cards, and make a quick video for you guys. So once again, I want to thank everybody for the support. Thank you for subscribing. I know that in my first episode, my intro, my tour of the man cave, got some really great support. I had my second video where I had my little intro as well and kind of introducing what cards I would be showing you. That was part one. This is part two. I'm going to jump right into it here. Only showing you my standard collection. Graded cards, relics, autos, all that good stuff will be in following videos. So in the first one, I showed you my Yankees binder, my Derek Jeter binder, as well as kind of current day stars and big name players, position players. Now we're going to be diving into pitchers. These are just some recent guys. Rest in peace, Roy Halladay. That is a really, really shitty situation. You kind of work hard your whole life. Finally retire, relax, and then an unfortunate accident like that happens, and unfortunately you're not able to kind of enjoy, some of the things that you've done and achieved, and that's really shitty, but I figured I'd get a whole bunch of Roy Halladay cards to kind of memorialize that a little bit and kind of pay tribute to him, although I am and was a huge Yankees fan. I always had respect for this guy. I mean, he was just a beast. I bet you guys could never imagine that I could go more than 7 seconds without saying anything. Jeez, we got a lot here, huh? All right, here's another one. I mean, Jose Fernandez. This kid was just an up-and-coming star, was about to blow up. He kind of came onto the scene and really proved himself. And, you thought he was going to be a mainstay, and I'm sure he would have been with that unfortunate boating accident. Obviously, we won't be able to see that, but wanted to kind of pay tribute to him as well. So, here we are on the current day pitchers. I think there's some other kind of like miscellaneous position players back here, but we'll get to that later. We got Madison Bumgarner. Look at that hair. I wish I had a head of hair like that. It's crazy. It's like funny now that the hairline's starting to recede. I'm starting to get my LeBron type thing going over here with my hairline. Even when I had the thickest, dopest hairline ever, I always shaved my head. It makes no sense. No sense at all. Corey Kluber, Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer. I could sit here all day talking about each individual player, but you know me, I could yap on and on and on, and you guys really don't want to do that. You guys, these are all modern day players. You want to know something about them? It's called Google, folks. I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm just saying, just for your own sake. If you don't know who Jake Arrieta is or Noah Syndergaard, yeah, I'm a Yankee fan here, but I'm not a Met hater. Like all the Mets hate the Yankee fans. All that kind of nonsense. I have nothing to be jealous of over here, so I support the local team as well. I also lived in Queens for a while, so like literally 7 minutes away from Citi Field. So I try to show support for the local teams when I can, as long as they're not legitimate rivals. Like the Yankees and Mets, you can say, oh, there's a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. Playing two separate leagues. And I think the last time we played during the World Series, we smoked you tremendously. That wasn't much of a rivalry. Oh, wait, sorry. I didn't mean to go there. Can you imagine your last name being Godly? Like, yeah, I could kick your ass. I'm manly. But you'd be like, no, fuck that, bro. I'm Godly. And then you have nothing to say. Like, manly can't beat Godly. Like, unless Thor comes on board and gets into the mix. Like, yeah, maybe he could win. But if my last name was Godly, I think I kind of would be in the same realm as Thor. I mean, it's crazy. Is that a crazy thing to think? I think not. Bartolo Colon. I don't know if this is like an industry league-wide nickname or just kind of me and my circle of friends, but we've been calling Bartolo Colon the Hamburglar for like well over a decade for obvious reasons. I mean, pretty damn good pitcher. I mean, he's had a lot of longevity in the league, but I think you could see why we call him the Hamburglar. Awesome. I mean, lovable guy. How do you not like him? The Hamburglar. King Felix. You know, I thought about just taking all the guys who are, who are prominent Red Sox or current Red Sox and just throwing them in the fireplace. But, a lot of you Red Sox fans have been watching my videos and tolerating them. So I want to be tolerant of your team as well. Plus, I can actually admit to you guys now, I should never do this on camera, but I'm going to admit it. I kind of like Big Papi now. I hated him when he was, an active player, kind of fucking up the Yankees all the time. But I like him. He seems like a cool dude. I do respect his play. Everyone wants to talk about the PEDs and all that shit. I really don't care about that. I genuinely don't. The guy would have hit a damn baseball out of the frickin' park with or without the steroids. Yeah, they helped. No shit, but that's for another day, another discussion. Maybe we can make a video about that. Papelbon, go fuck yourself. But hey, showing you some respect. Some of these pages I don't have filled out all the way because these guys are pretty recent. I mean, there's only so many cards you can get unless you really focus on collecting. These are just some of the additional position players. Ellsbury, he's not a true Yankee. So if you're not a true Yankee, at least in my book, you don't get in the goddamn Yankees binder. Plus, with the contract we're giving this schmuck versus his actual production is like, it's like robbery. I swear to God, he's like, I'm going to go and screw the Yankees. Not a bad player. Not a bad player. And he's not as hurt as much as everybody thinks, but that goddamn contract is insane. Like, he can't even get on the field now. He's not even good enough to get on the field. Then again, we do have a stacked outfield. Michael Conforto. Yasiel Puig. I feel like he's about to do like the hip thrust. I don't know if you guys watch football at all, but Von Miller, when he throws his hands behind his head and does that like really sexual thrusting motion after he sacks the quarterback, which I don't even know how is allowed if kids are watching football, because that's like a seriously sexual thrust. Yeah, it's cool. It's fun in my book, but hey, everyone's trying to get all PG nowadays while Yasiel Puig is doing the fucking Von Miller hip thrust. Save it for the bedroom guy. Jackie Bradley Jr., good player. Michael Brantley. Joey Bats. Ian Happ had a freaking home run, no pun intended, right off the bat yesterday. First game of the day. Excited for opening day. My Yanks. Sevy looked good on the mound. Stanton is going to do Stanton things. Or that's a Stantonian home run, or whatever John Sterling's saying now. And he said some shit in Italian. I should know Italian, but I don't. I am a fake Italian. All right. So now, what we're going to do, that was 9 minutes already. Jeez. We're going to start cruising through here. This is part 2 of my collection video. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm going to sit here and act like it's a radio show or a TV show. I know you've been watching since the beginning, but it makes me feel more important than I really am. All right. Who the hell doesn't love Griffey? When I was a kid, holy shit. He was like the panty dropper for men and women. Him and Jeter. So you got to pay tribute to him. I mean, he made the backwards hat cooler than the backwards hat already was, and the backwards hat was pretty goddamn cool when you were a kid. Imagine the day, I don't remember the day, but imagine the day you discover you got your fitted cap on. Well, it wasn't a fitted cap most of the time. It was like your starter cap on, forward. And then one day, the first kid in the neighborhood was like, fuck this. I'm flipping it around. And then everyone was like, oh my God! And then he got so much attention from the ladies, then everyone started doing it. I don't remember who started it, but if I was going to guess, I'm just going to say it was me. Unless there's any one of my friends that can actually corroborate that story on camera. If they can't do that, then we're going to say it's me. Okay? Little Mark McGuire. I feel like he's that doctor in the operating room with the paddle things who's like, zzz, 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 whatever the noise makes, and then revives the person's life. That's what he did to baseball. Him and Sammy Sosa. So props to him. Oh, but he did steroids. Oh, speaking of, Barry Bonds, I wonder if he did roids. I mean, I know that he gained like 70 pounds of pure muscle and his hat size grew like 8 sizes. But that's normal, right? I mean, doesn't that just happen? Yeah, that was sarcasm. Mike Schmidt. Pujols. That Albert Pujols is phenomenal. Yes, I know it's Pujols. I'm just fucking around. This is what I was talking about before. I'll pay tribute to Big Papi. Even though he can go fuck himself. Oh, so sorry to mention, we started off at the 500. I've got off on a tangent there. We started off with the 500 home run guys. Now we're going into the 3,000 hits guys. Sorry for not clarifying that. Silly Robert. Ricky Henderson, how do you not love him with that fucking speed and that swag? Ricky was the man. Yeah, so it was 500. Now it's 3,000. Tony Gwynn, R.I.P. Loved Tony Gwynn. He was my buddy Keith's favorite player of all time. R.I.P. Ichiro, I mean, fuck, man. If this guy played his whole entire career in the MLB, he would have had like 17 million hits, I think, if I statistically calculated that. 17 million, I think, was the number. That's a joke, folks. So these are 500 home run plus 3,000 hit guys. There. Some more right here. I'm sure you guys know the 5. If you don't know the 5, Google them. Or I can tell you right now. It's Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Eddie Murray, Rafael Palmeiro, and A-Rod. Let me just kind of poke that back down. See, the minis don't fit in the sleeves as nicely as I would like, but that's for obvious reasons, because they're mini and not regular size for the regular size sleeves. So these guys back here now, after that 500, 3,000 club, these are just Hall of Famers. I shouldn't say just Hall of Famers like that, but and this whole binder is all 9 Yankees. I have every Yankee that is a legitimate Yankee in that other binder. So all these accolades that the Yankees have achieved are not included in this, because they are gods among men and they deserve a separate realm to be worshipped. Okay, and we're going to breeze through this last one. What I'll do going forward is I'll end up picking a binder or a player, and I'll dive in depth in some future videos. I have a bunch of other ideas, unique stuff that I think you guys will enjoy. Those of you last video that were introduced to Brooklyn, I'm sure I'll do something with her. These are 300 win pitchers. Cy Young. I heard he was a pretty good pitcher. I was kind of surprised, you know. Who would have thought they'd name a major award after a guy he wasn't good? So I figured, hey, he's probably decent. He's probably a decent player. Turns out, you know, when I went on the Google, I found out he was pretty awesome. Greg Maddux, Don Sutton, Roger Clemens. Yeah, played for the Yankees a couple of years, but we know he's not a fucking Yankee. I like, you know, he was good for the Yankees for sure, but he's still kind of douchey. Listen, you could be douchey and in my binder. It's okay. Darryl Strawberry. Okay. Pretty quick, pretty funny Darryl Strawberry story as I kind of breeze through here. These are just, so after the 300 win pitchers, these are just kind of top players who had no major milestones, not in the Hall of Fame for various reasons. Jose Canseco. So my Darryl Strawberry story. I met him twice, actually. Met him in high school. He came to speak at our high school. And this was kind of when he started for about 4 or 5 years in New York. He went on a tour, pretty much. I don't know if it was like community service or what he's trying to keep his ass out of jail for whatever reason. I really couldn't tell you, but he's sitting there and he's trying to be. He's supposed to be talking to the athletes. There's probably 50 people in the room for this. It was for the baseball team. I was on the lacrosse team, so all my good buddies were on the baseball team. So they told me the story, been corroborated by numerous sources. So Darryl Strawberry's sitting there, and he's like, going on about his career, and if I wasn't doing coke, I could have hit 5 million home runs, and I would have been the greatest player ever. And the scary thing is, he probably would have been the greatest players ever. You imagine, like, he wasn't on performance-enhancing drugs. He was on cocaine and hitting that crack pipe and all that other good shit he was doing. Let me find him. Put him back on that page. So can you imagine if he was clean and on steroids to enhance his performance? What a legendary player he would have been. I mean, incredible talent. So he's going on and on about his career, and then he's talking about kind of, sometimes when he started dabbling with drugs, and he's like, first time I did coke, I loved it. I loved it. And I'm like, Darryl, I know you loved it. You know you loved it. I think the whole world knows that you loved it. So a bunch of the guys started dying and giggling like, you're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, and Darryl Strawberry walks into high school. First time I did coke, I loved it. I'm like, bro, you should probably be deterring everyone from hitting the nose candy over here, Little sound effects. Which I, believe it or not, I've never actually done, even once. You couldn't tell that by how fucking wired I am. So he's like, this shit ain't funny. Why you laughing? This shit ain't funny. This is serious. I'm like, Darryl, what the fuck do you expect? What do you expect? You're telling teenagers you're doing blow all the time and you loved it. Saying it like that. So anyway, afterwards, I kind of showed up because I got the inside tip that he was speaking just to the baseball team, who actually won the state championship that year. Props to them, 2006. But he autographed a bunch of cards for me. He was a pretty cool guy. I took a picture with him. I have it in my man cave. Video 1, you might be able to see it. It's above the door. Wasn't an overly nice guy. Wasn't overly energetic. Wasn't overly welcoming. But he was cool enough. He was nice enough. I can't say anything bad about him. So that's it. This is part 2. Part 3, I'm going to show you kind of some of the other stuff I got. Some of the more highly touted cards, I guess you could say. Nothing too crazy, but some pretty cool stuff. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for listening to me yet again. Peace.